Thank you very much. As introduced, my name is Sup Choi. I'm a researcher working for Public Research Institute funded by the Korean government, Ministry of Labor and Ministry of Education. My institute is under the Prime Minister's office, and our mandate is to provide policy advice to the ministries related to vocational education and training. First of all, I would like to express my great appreciation to the organizer of this event and giving me a chance to share my thoughts on this very important topic. Actually, I'm not sure I'm the best person to share the experiences of South Korea, but let me try. Let me try to explain the challenges of South Korea and the recent policy attempts to overcome the challenges in these days. My presentation is the way of strengthening the linkage between the skills development and skills utilization. And my presentation will go through these steps. Firstly, I will take a very quick look at Korea's youth labor market, and I will go into more detail about the achievements and challenges of Korean skills system. And I will talk about how to restore a virtuous cycle of skills system in Korea. And I will introduce some interesting cases of skills training program for strengthening SMEs, small and medium-sized enterprises, competitiveness. And I will sum up my presentation with some final words. And quick look at Korea's youth labor market. At first sight, you may think that Korea's skill system is relatively functioning well, because in these days, Korean students are showing impressive academic performance, as shown in these scores. That is, in 2012, Korean students has ranked 5th in math, also 5th in reading, and 7th in science as well. If exclude Shanghai, Hong Kong, and Macau, these small cities, Korea's students are ranked 3rd, respectively, and 5th. And also, the progression rates of Korean students, upper secondary students to tertiary education is more than 70%. And also, the unemployment rate, youth unemployment rate, is relatively low. It is less than 10%. So we can say that unemployment rate in Korea is not so serious. However, when looking at other aspects, we can say that there exists serious mismatch in the labor market. That is, we can see a substantive number of needs, not in employment, education, and training. That is, there are around 1 million youths are in a need situation, and large number of many SMEs are having difficulty in recruiting required workforces. So these are clearly indicating that there exists a mismatch between skills development and skills utilization. Then why such situation has happened and what measures are required to address such situation? Then to answer these questions, I think that we have to go into more detail about the achievements and challenges of Korean skills system. Skills system in the pre-IMF era. This IMF era is called by Koreans that this is specifically a period when IMF, International Monetary Funds, imposed very strict austerity program to address the current crisis hit by with other East Asian countries. Before this era, Korea has achieved economic growth with ample supply of well-educated or well-trained workforces, as the education enrollment has continuously increased. As you can see from this graph, this is the enrollment rate to primary, and blue one is gross enrollment to secondary, and red one is gross enrollment ratio to tertiary. And you can see in these days, gross enrollment rate is even more than 100%. That is universities and colleges are providing tertiary education exceeding their original capacity. And these increased the number of graduates from schools were absorbed by export market-oriented manufacturing sector, which combined imported advanced knowledge technology with the diligence of well-educated workforce. So we can say that in the pre-IMF era, there was a virtuous cycle between the skills development and skills utilization. That is, expansion of education is leading to increased supply of skilled workers, and once again, this bring out strengthen the competitiveness of industries, and once again, continued growth and increased demand for skilled workers. So almost no concern about unemployment since the beginning of economic development in the late 1960s, just before the sudden crisis in the 1990s. And at the time, companies, business strategy of companies was this one, size doesn't matter. That is, they were more concerned about the increase of market share, even at a very low profit level. However, Korean economy is suddenly struck by the financial crisis with other East Asian countries. And due to this financial crisis, even major companies of South Korea were bankrupt and mass unemployment appeared. Then profit burst after the IMF era. Then after the IMF era, many of large companies in Korea realized the fragility of market share first strategy. Then they changed their strategy towards more emphasis on profitability. This change of business strategy resulted in a serious problem. They started segregating the core and periphery workers, and they started pursuing extremely numerical flexibility to the possible extent, that is, wide use of temporary workers and outsourcing, and even they imposed the reduction of price of products from the subcontract companies to large companies. Then such price reduction caused the so-called profit squeezing of SMEs or profit transfers from SMEs to large companies. Then at the time, quite unfortunately, there was no proper social institutions to control such excessively individualistic and short-sighted profit maximization strategy of large companies. Severe polarization in South Korea started to be appeared between large and small companies and core peripheral or regular and non-regular workers. This graph is showing the polarization between large and small companies. As you can see from this table, from this graph, while the production volume of large companies has been increasing, the production volume of small and medium-sized companies are almost stagnating. And also, profit share, profit ratio of large companies is almost maintaining, but the profit ratio of SMEs has been gradually dropping. And reflecting such divergence or polarization of the economic situation of large and small companies, wage differential has also increased. You can see from this graph, relative wage level of large company has been continuously increasing. In these days, it is almost tripled. And this wage differential is bigger in Korea than in other countries. When comparing the relative wage level by the size of company in Korea, Japan, and the United States, you can see the relative wage level of South Korea is far smaller than other countries. For example, workers working in small and medium-sized enterprises in Korea are getting only around 40% of compensation compared to that of workers in large companies, while workers in SMEs in the United States are earning around 70%. So this is basically such polarization is causing the serious mismatch in the labor market. That is, more and more youths are becoming reluctant to take jobs in SMEs. As you can see from these two tables, vacancy rate of technicians and engineers are far higher in SMEs than in bigger companies. And also, average tenure of workers is far shorter in SMEs than in large companies. These situations are meaning that small and medium companies do not have essential workforces to raise or just to maintain the competitiveness in the globalized economy and mismatch in the labor market. Since due to this polarization, many youths are becoming needs. That is, they are not seeking jobs in the labor market, but just staying outside of labor market and just waiting the chance to find the job in the large company instead of finding jobs in the small and medium-sized companies. For example, the share of needs with the tertiary education is almost about double the OECD average. That is, here, the share of needs with tertiary education is around 60% in OECD countries, but 13%. But in Korea, it is around 24%. Then the thing is, the share among all uses is just slightly higher than average. That is, the share of needs of all uses is 16% in OECD countries, but in Korea, it is just 19%. This is implying that there exists excess supply of general or tertiary education compared to the demands from the industry. It means that the expansion of tertiary education has been biased towards, let's see, academic education with a weak relationship with the real demands from the industry. So in these days, we have to say there exists a kind of both vicious cycle in the labor market, especially a vicious cycle between the difficulty of securing talented workers of SMEs, worsening competitiveness of SMEs, and the reluctance of youths. So difficulty of getting required workforces, and little investment of SMEs to training and longer working hours, and they have to rely on traditional cost competition strategy, and this is resulting in the reduced competitiveness of SMEs and widening wage gap, and once again, job seekers' avoidance of SME jobs and the increase of the needs. Then, in this situation, how to restore the virtuous cycle in the past, in these days? Then, I believe that there should be two directional approach to address this situation. First one is to change in the skills development to improve the relevance of BET. And second one is to change the skills utilization, just to alleviate the labor market polarization. With regard to the changes in skills development, we can say that rehabilitation of secondary vocational education and the reform of tertiary vocational education and improved relevance of vocational training through strengthened role of industry. And with regard to the changes in skills utilization, Korean government has been applying several measures, including the establishment of a so-called National Commission of Company Partnership to promote the so-called core prosperity of large and small and medium-sized enterprises. And Korean government is trying to improve the working conditions or attractiveness of SMEs by providing special subsidy to SME workers just to compensate the increased wage gap, and subsidy for workplace improvement just to make the SME workplaces more attractive to youths. And Korean government is also trying to introduce new regulations on the excessive use of numerical flexibility, such as irregular workers, subcontractors, etc. Since the topic of this Congress is on the vocational education training, I will focus on the first part, the changes in skills development. Then the first approach adopted by the Korean government is the rehabilitation of secondary vocational education. In the past, secondary level vocational education was not so bad in Korea. For example, there were 3 former presidents graduated from vocational high schools since 1998 until 2008. So it means that in the past, vocational education, even so academic education has been traditionally highly valued, in the past, vocational education was not so badly disregarded. But due to the worsening labor market polarization, the value of vocational education has been continuously dropped. Then, just to address such situation, former administration set the rehabilitation of secondary vocational education as a priority policy issue. Then the government increased investment to secondary vocational education from $50 million in 2010 to $60 million in 2012 and 2013. Main directions were including the introduction of highly specialized vocational education schools. We call them Meister high schools. Meister is coming from Germany. And also strengthen the cooperation with local industry and the introduction of competence-based curriculum, extended the use of qualified industry instructors, and also improvement of workplace training. So once completed, currently around 700 vocational high schools will be restructured into 50 Meister high schools and 350 specialized vocational high schools, and the remaining previous vocational high schools will be turned to general or comprehensive high schools. And at the moment, Korean government is satisfied with the performance of these new Meister high schools. That is, in 2014, a study is showing that the employment rate of Meister high school graduate is almost 90%. So the government is a bit satisfied. And the second approach is to reform the tertiary level of vocational education. Last year, Ministry of Education announced the new policy for measures for fostering junior colleges, which aims to raise employment rate of junior college graduates to 80% from 60% in 2013 by fostering specialized junior colleges and fostering skilled craftsmen through establishing graduate schools of industrial technology master courses in junior technical colleges, and by converting 16 junior colleges into NCS, National Competence-based, competency standard-based, lifelong vocational education advancement colleges. Up to now, these junior college students of these junior colleges are mainly youths. That is, around more than 95% of students are aged under 25. But the point of this approach is to make these junior colleges to more adult-oriented vocational training centers, which are expected to meet the skills upgrading training needs from the local industries, and also by assisting the employment and learning experiences in companies abroad for college students. And thirdly, last year also the government announced a very strong commitment to the development of national competency standards by investing $200 million until 2017. Up to now, there's no nationally common skill standards in Korea. Actually, Korea's labor market has been organized by company, not by occupation. Then I think that there has clearly some merit advantage of such way of organizing the labor market. That means if you get hired by a certain company, you will not get hired for a specific task, but you will get hired by a company. It means that if there's some changes of business environment, you can be easily repositioned to a new task, which was not originally offered to you. then this is giving the company great flexibility to respond to the changes from the business environment. However, since there's no socially common standards, there's a problem of increased wage difference by companies. That is, even so you are doing the same job in different companies, you will get quite different wages according to the company's performance, because there's no socially agreed standards about the skills and also compensation level. So this can be the non-existence of nationally agreed skill standard can be seen as one reason of recent labor market polarization in Korea. And so the government announced that they will invest a lot to develop the national competency standards by integrating the previous pre-governmental efforts and with the strong collaboration between all the concerned ministries. The development of NCS itself and the learning packages based on NCS are scheduled to be completed by the end of this year. And once completed the development of NCS, the establishment of new national qualification framework will be done by 2017. And another approach is to introduce Korean-type work-study or apprenticeship program. It was announced in September last year as a work-based learning model for uses, benchmarking the cases of Germany by providing, and we are expecting that the introduction of this apprenticeship program will alleviate the overemphasis on academic degrees by providing alternative professional career pathway. Actually, the number of companies receiving the subsidy from the government is relatively small, just around 300. But I believe that this is also important, especially in the context of Korea. As I said, traditionally, vocational education and training in Korea has been organized outside the workplace. But in these days, the government is changing a little bit towards more, let's say, workplace or contextualized learning. And this is the example of this program. So then my final words. I believe that, I think that we want to increase the competitiveness of our economy and our companies. Then I think that we have to improve the linkage between skills development and skills utilization. As you can see from this chart, even so, Korea has achieved great progress. Still, the labor productivity is lagging behind most of OECD countries. Then how to overcome such situation? Then I believe that such a situation can only be overcome by effectively utilizing very precious human resources who have knowledge and skills globally competitive. That is, we need more jobs, and we have to make sure our workers are working smart by providing better education and training, which meet the needs from the industry. Then, how to maximize the contribution of BET to competitiveness? The first thing is to identify the skills needs from the industry more concretely, and also we have to close the gap between the BET and the industry to improve the relevance of BET, and we have to motivate more active participation of companies and individuals to BET through several measures, as indicated here. So I will start my presentation at here. But sorry, I'm not sure whether it is possible for you to raise questions. But please never hesitate to contact me if you have any questions or more. If you need more information, then I will be more than happy to communicate with you. Thank you very much.